to the 183 and sets a blistering new track record. It is Chamber of Commerce weather here this afternoon on Friday, August 18th, 2022 at Lime Rock Park in Lakeville, Connecticut. Back live for GRIDLIFE Track Battle Group B. Kyle Heyer joined now in the booth by Richard Morris from Racing Pride. Richard, welcome to Lime Rock Park and welcome to a GRIDLIFE event. I know this is your first event on site with us here, but you guys are doing some really cool things, so welcome first of all.
Hey, yeah, thanks for the warm welcome. Yeah, it's awesome to be here. As you can hear, I'm British. I'm here from the UK, but yeah, amazing to be here in person with you and enjoying a great event.
Yeah, it's a great weekend. We've got 2 days of on-track action, then, of course, the car show on Sunday, but the concourse all weekend long. Tomorrow's the big day, though. We're going to have lots of cars up there in the paddock and more racing to go through this afternoon. We've got Track Battle B, C, and D coming up, and then we'll be followed by GLTC Race 1, and then some more drift for the rest of the day. We got to interview Sam Posey earlier, a legendary motorsports broadcaster and driver, so had some really great stories with Sam. But, Richard, tell me a little bit about Racing Pride and what you guys do.
Yeah, so Racing Pride is about promoting LGBTQ+ inclusion through motorsport. It's an initiative that I started working on late 2018, launched mid-2019. I'm a pro driver myself over in Europe, and I'd not always found it obvious that motorsport was going to be inclusive of LGBTQ+ people. The sport as a whole wasn't having many conversations about it. There wasn't much visible representation, but as I sort of grew up, I realized there's lots of people in motorsport who want to make it open to everyone. They want to have this sport reach out to everyone. It's just that we weren't having those conversations. We didn't have that visibility of support to encourage and empower people that they were going to be accepted in this environment. So, yeah, I started up this initiative, Racing Pride, and it's taken off. We're partnered with 3 Formula One teams now, have ambassadors in different countries, including some partners and ambassadors here in North America, which is what I'm doing here.
Yeah, it's awesome. And we always talk about GRIDLIFE, really fielding motorsports inclusion. And that is true across the board, whether we're talking about the vehicles on track or the people in the paddock. And I think what GRIDLIFE has done is our paddock looks a lot more like the general population in terms of demographic. And I think that's important that people can express themselves and be who they want to be anywhere, whether it's off track or on track or, all the places in the community. So it's really cool. And I love what you guys are doing, and thankful to be partnering with you guys this season. We've also got an event up at the arcade tonight. Tell me a little bit about that. I'll be up there with you.
Yeah, so 7 to 8 p.m., I believe it is, up at the arcade. We're having a little Pride party. We've got a Pride playlist of some tunes, and obviously there'll be the bar there and some drinks, and myself, Sandara, and Tom O'Gorman are going to be there. So Sandara Kennedy, one of the drift drivers, Tom O'Gorman, obviously absolutely crushing it in the touring cars. We'll all be up there. We'll talk a little bit more about Racing Pride and hopefully meet some more of you and be giving out some stickers and all that kind of stuff and just create a bit of a feel-good factor, hopefully.
Awesome. Well, really excited for that. Again, that's 7:20 p.m. up at the arcade. So if you're here on site with us, that's up at the inside of turn number 4. So make sure you join us there. There's games and there's a bar up there, all sorts of fun stuff up there to whet your appetite, no matter what it may be. But on track now, we've got Time Attack Group B. Now, Richard, this is our track battle series I'm sure you're familiar with. We've got our different levels, A, B, C, and D, and all different run groups amongst 7 different competition classes. And we just saw James Houghton run a sub-52-second lap around this 1.5-mile circuit. It is fast to go under 52 seconds here. Airborne is the 350 of Steve Luca, but this is such a unique racetrack, a short course, laps under a minute, and 7 different classes to drive whatever you want to drive and go as fast as you can.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I mean, in the UK and Europe, I'm racing a car called the Revolution, which weighs 1,700 pounds and has over 500 horsepower. It's a carbon fiber prototype, absolute beast of a thing, 3.7-litre V6 supercharged engine. And I hope, fingers crossed, I might be able to bring that out in the unlimited time attack at some point. That's a bit of an ambition.
It would be really cool. The 350 car that we're watching on screen entering the left-hander right now is Steve Luca out of Hendersonville, Tennessee with Serpent Stangs Racing. It's a 2017 Ford Mustang in our Street GT category. So talk a lot about the unlimited category, the carbon fiber bodywork, making cars lightweight, and they've got aero on them and make them stick to the road. The Street GT is kind of the antithesis of that: big, heavy, lots of torque. And it's a really interesting class because you can't really do much to the car, meaning that you're running them mostly stock, which for a person tracking a car that's an attractive idea because you're not necessarily fixing things all the time on your modified Subaru or whatever it may be. So Street GT is a very unique class. We had our limited cars out in the previous session. Our big class in this particular session is our Falcon Club TR, our spec tire, Falcon RT 660 tired class that is under 2.5 liters, lots of aero, engine swaps permitted, lightweight generally. But you can do a lot with that category. So you see on the left-hand side of the screen on the ticker, if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, you've got your different categories. We've got the legend that we'll bring up that will show you what those different colors stand for. The red is unlimited. The orange is track modified. Teal is street modified. The yellow is Street GT. Blue is street. Gray is Club TR. And we'll have some Falcon Sunday Cup competitors in the fits out a little bit later. But all the different colors of the rainbow here in track battle.
Yeah, great to see. And it's amazing to see such a variety of cars, and that's part of making the sport accessible to people as well, like giving them a chance to come in entry level with a stock car and just learn about the driving apart from anything, and then maybe play a bit more with some modified cars and a bit of downforce as they get a bit more experienced.
Yeah, Steve Luca and the Mustang right now in Street GT ripping it at the moment. The 144 Parlette has gone second quick in this session at a 59.356. There's Luca across the line, the red angry looking headlights. Look at that car dance on the brakes into turn one. You know, you talk about racing a prototype. Have you raced a big heavy tin top car, a GT car of any kind?
I haven't. I've mostly come up through single-seaters and then into prototypes. So I've driven a bit of GT stuff, GT4s and things like that, and a little bit of stuff on track days. Obviously, it's a different thing when you got to handle that momentum change into the corner, when you got more movement in the suspension, a bit more roll in the car. You know, it's a slightly different driving style, and obviously, when you get aero, it kind of changes everything. You know, when you're not in an aero car, the slow in, fast out kind of approach, you know, you've got to give it a chance to load up and everything. In a prototype car, you just absolutely hammer those entries, carry the speed, believe it's going to grip because the downforce will work for you. I
got a chance to ride in a Radical SR3 a couple months ago, and I'd never been in a car with any level of downforce. And to sit in the passenger seat of that with Ben Harisco from URW up in Gingerman Raceway, that was a blast. And, you know, the lines are almost completely different at certain points because, you know, in a double apex corner at Gingerman Raceway, there's like a left flick, and then there's a tightening apex corner. And you kind of drive at it, and then you brake, and all in a straight line, and then you turn in. In a bigger, heavier car, it's almost one big, long, sweeping corner. So it was very darty, and it was a really interesting experience, and my neck was sore after about 2 minutes. So it's a really, I mean, the neck, let's talk about that, though, for a second. I mean, training for prototype racing, single-seater racing, that takes a big toll on your body also.
Yeah, you definitely need to be putting in a little bit of time in the gym, and I'm usually careful with my diet, although I was in New York City earlier this week, and the diet didn't go quite so well there. I had to have a bagel and a donut or two, but yeah, you do have to prepare yourself to drive those cars. They really push you around. You know, the forces, as you say, something you've got to be prepared for, but incredible machines, and the biggest thing is just getting your mind over that hurdle of believing you can carry that speed into the corner. And with a downforce car, the harder you push in, the harder it grips. Obviously to a point where it then snaps, and you've got to know where that is too.
Stephen Mahiato in the Civic on track right now, the 275 through Big Bend. He's got some aero on this car front.
Those
rear.
are big wings.
Big wings for a Civic, I'll say that. But it's quick, under a minute, 59.149. We were just talking with Sam Posey, of course, and he was saying that, you know, back in the day, sub 1 minute, that was the lap that you were trying to get, and here we're just doing it casually in our Group B of our time attack class. It's amazing the progression that we see just in our classes like Falcon Club TR, the amount of progression in the class over time as people continue to evolve the chassis that they're working with. It's amazing how much faster we go year after year to the same racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with racing is people are always pushing the limits, and they're always learning. And, you know, individuals improve over time. You also see whole series taking steps forward as people just learn more about how to run these cars and maximize what you can do in the regulations.
Yeah, and of course, the rule sets here in GRIDLIFE, they allow you to kind of play around with a lot of things depending on what class you choose. Street Modified, it kind of uncaps a lot of things that you couldn't necessarily do in Club TR, for example, or step up to Track Modified and then into the Unlimited, where it's all, you know, fair game. Anything you want to add, active aero, you know, 1,200 horsepower, twin turbos, slicks, all those things are unlocked at the Unlimited level. But it's fascinating to me to watch Unlimited cars like Parlette and the 144 run third in this session behind behind a street GT car, behind a track modified car. Now, Parlett is running in a 2005 Infiniti G35, so Unlimited is probably more related to his tire selection and aero choices rather than the chassis that he's building the car off of. But it is amazing how close the classes are at a track that's this tight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, this circuit has a lot of mid-speed corners where you can kind of carry the speed that you've got, so that helps bunch things up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the choice of tires is a big thing. Driving on slicks is a different thing to the road tire. The main thing is like increasing the contact patch that you've got so you can hit the brakes that bit harder, carry that little bit more mid-speed on it.
There's Steve Luca back on track again, under 59 seconds now, 58.585 for this big red Mustang, and it is going quick right now. I'm sure it sounds great too. We're a little far from the exhaust pipes of it, so we can't quite hear it here. But I know Nick Gardner's got a car that's very similar to this in Unlimited class in the previous session that we just missed. So Nick is out here as well in a GT500, so maybe a little different than the Mustang that we're looking at with Luca. But Fitzgerald in the 488, we had talked about him briefly earlier, and I was looking for his name because there's a couple Fitzgeralds on our entry list. That is Blake Fitzgerald out of Carver, Massachusetts in his 2001 Honda S2000. Here is Eddie Siegel in a Honda Civic entering turn number 1 right now. Acuity on the side. That's the 470. That car, in terms of the classing, is in our street category. So that's a car that you should still be able to just drive down the road and not get yourself pulled over too fast. The decals might make it stand out a little bit.
Yeah, I think those decals are going to get some attention. But yeah, it's amazing to see this variety of cars. The S2000 is an absolute classic. Everyone loves an S2000. And that Mustang looks awesome, though. I mean, I'm not going to say this as a Brit, obviously, but yeah, it does look pretty good.
We sold them over there this generation, so I think you can get them over there now. They're probably hard to find.
There's been Mustangs driving in things like British GT and things in race series as well, but yeah, it's not the classic European style of car, but it does look pretty awesome.
Another thing that you see a lot of in Club TR and in GLTC, which we'll see later today, you see a lot of engine swaps. Now, Peter Granberg in the 511, he's on track in a blue Subaru BRZ. Now, Peter has supercharged that car. He's replaced transmissions and motors and all the things over the years. And recently, he said, let's put a K24 in it from Honda. And there it is. There's Peter Granberg on your screen now. And this was a multi-month project, and I know it's not inexpensive, but he put the work into the car. There's a kit that you can buy that helps you swap that engine in. And I've driven a K24 BRZ before, and boy, does it make the car so much better. I own an FRS, so I'm familiar with the chassis. But, man, when you can rev that car to 8,500 RPM and you know it's not going to explode on you when you do it, that's a confidence that you don't get with the Subaru Source power plant necessarily.
Yeah, everyone loves revving out those engines, but maybe less so when it's your car that you've bought the engine for and you're wondering if it's going to take it.
Yep, so here's Peter right now in the Falcon Club TR category. Looks like he's going to dive into pit lane now. His best time on this session, a 101.059. And for those at home asking about track records, well, we don't have any yet because we haven't been here yet. So every top class time that you're seeing is a new track record. And when we come back here next year, we can start comparing and contrasting. But we will see that record probably fall throughout the weekend and a lot tomorrow as well. We have a long day on track tomorrow, and we'll continue to see people improve their times as they get comfortable with the racetrack. Most of our folks from the Midwest have never been here. Lots of people that are from the Northeast have been here, but not at a GRIDLIFE event. So merging those two things together has been fruitful so far.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Wow.
A bit of a drift on there, yeah.
Drifting a front-wheel drive Honda. How about that? Big slide through turn 4.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting to have these opportunities to go to new tracks with the series, and I'd like to say that I am cool enough that I don't look at these things, but actually if you have the chance to set a lap record, it's really meaningful. I mean, if you go to a track where they've raced loads before and you set a lap record, obviously I think for me, that's a bigger achievement even than winning a race, because you think you're the fastest there's ever been. But also, if you get a chance like this to have a pop at setting the time, as I say, I'd like to say I'm cooler than this, but actually I had this chance at Snetterton in England. I raced a series that hadn't raced there before and set a lap record, and I do look back occasionally to see if it still stands.
It still stands, I hope.
It does currently, yeah.
Awesome. There's the 821 car, Mini Cooper. Now, I've heard that this is FCP Euro employee Evan Medor out of Terryville, Connecticut. It's a 2003 Mini. And I love these cars. I think they're great, and if I was more reckless, I would probably buy one. I know that they can be a little tricky at times to build out for specific classes. I think this car is running in street class, yes, with the blue on the timing and scoring. But these are great choices for our Sunday Cup category, which we'll see in the next session. Maybe the pointy end of that field in the next session. But they're great cars. They're very lightweight, very short wheelbase. And in terms of your experiences on track, typically Formula cars, open cockpit cars, they've got those longer wheelbases. Have you ever driven anything short like a Mini before on track?
Yeah, well, I mean, this looks, you can see it picking up the inside rear wheel. It's more like driving a kart, and obviously I came up through karting. That was where I began. I ended up racing absolutely monster shifter karts with a 250cc motorbike engine on them, 5 gears. They were incredible. But, yeah, looking at this, lifting up that inside rear wheel, it is just like a kart, the way it does that to get the weight transfer. And the thing with a shorter wheelbase, it gives you that darty feeling, in the chicanes and the lower speed corners. You can whip it around so much better than a long wheelbase. But yeah, when you start having aero cars, they go for the longer wheelbase just so they can get more surface area to create the downforce.
On track now in the black and red Subaru heading down into West Bend. That's Devin Alexandria with us. And she has out on sticker tires, and she said, just texted me, she said, I'm going out on stickers, pray for me, she said. So let's see how this car does. This is a Subaru WRX, and I'm excited to see how Devin does here. I owed Devin an apology a long time ago. She's going to head straight back into the pits here because I wasn't familiar with Devin, hadn't met her yet, and I didn't know that she was a girl. And I felt horrible because I called her a he on the broadcast, and I went back and I go, I got to fix that. So I'm fixing that right now for Devin. So Devin's heading back into the pits, so she'll probably come back out. But on sticker tires, we'll see how she does in her Subaru. And here's a good look at the 323 car. And that car is Nick, wow, that's a heck of a last name, Rivadeneira out of Glen Rock, New Jersey, with race builds in a 2003 S2000 in our Club TR category. You mentioned the S2000, a classic in terms of rear-wheel drive, simple sports cars. And we see a ton of these at GRIDLIFE.
Yeah, they are amazing cars. I mean, just coming back to the point about the sticker tires, it's always interesting to see differences between cars and how much they like the brand new tires and how easy it is to get them in. And, you're saying where she's like, oh, pray for me. Sometimes when you come out the pits on sticker tires, they do take a few corners to actually get any grip. You have to work the release agent off the surface of the tire. But yeah, when you get up to having a really quick prototype or something, 3 corners in, you're getting peak grip out of the tires. But in things like this, yeah, maybe they take a few laps to come on, and that's, if you're trying to set a qualifying time, you've got to factor that in, then it might take a couple of laps to get them up working. Yeah,
it's not necessarily cut and dry. You don't necessarily know what it's going to do because you can use all sorts of different kinds of tires depending on the class that you're in. In Devin's class, you can't run slicks necessarily, but in Unlimited, you certainly can. And so, talk about wearing off the mold release. When they mold the tire, there's a chemical on the inside that kind of makes it glossy, and you need to work that out like you mentioned. But a lot of these drivers are on street tires, 200, 100 treadwear tires, and they still have, they still need to work up the temperature, but they're also really easy to overheat as well. If you get too much slide in them or you're braking too hard and locking up and putting flat spots in them, so you really need to treat your tires well. Now, granted that this is track battle, you need to run 1 lap quick. Sometimes you're willing to just sacrifice your set for that 1 lap because that's all that counts. That's all that you're getting scored for is your best lap of the weekend.
Yeah, it's particularly understeer that cooks the front tires typically in cars that are more street-like. So, yeah, you've got to avoid that. But there's got to be some tactics in getting that temperature into your tires, but not killing them, saving them a little bit so you got them at a good temperature, then attack that lap. And then, as you say, if you get the time on the board, it doesn't matter if you're done then.
Yeah, certainly. And on Unlimited, we've seen that in the past where drivers will show up, they'll run 1 lap, they'll crush the record and say, I'm done. That's all I needed to do. They'll come back next year and do it again. They spend 58 hours a week building their car in their garage, and if you finish second, it's not good enough. That's what it's all about. So it's an incredible dedication that a lot of the drivers in those crazier classes have to work with to get themselves in competitive form here. So checkered flag, I thought was out for Group B, but it doesn't appear so. So we'll see Steve Luca still on top in track battle. Battle in Street GT for Group B. In a couple of minutes, we'll head off to Group C. We got Group D coming up, and then GLTC followed by Drift to round out the day here again with Richard from Racing Pride. Again, if you're here at the racetrack, 7:20. It's about 3 hours from now. Head up to the arcade for a little bit of a party. We'll have music. We'll have drinks. We'll have arcades and racing sims. We'll have an esports competition up there at 8 o'clock. So lots of things happening on the inside of Turn 4 a little later tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll be able to meet some of our Racing Pride ambassadors and chat a bit about what we do, but also the awesome cars that they're driving here this weekend. I've got to say, by the way, this is the first time I've seen drift out on track like this. I've seen some drift demos at things, but not on a racetrack. And the spectacle of that is just awesome.
I have a fun story about this particular tow truck if you want to hang the camera on this for a second. So we do a lot of iRacing in GRIDLIFE. We have our winter series that we typically run, and we let anyone from the community join. Now, this tow truck in particular that we're looking at on the screen is actually in the iRacing laser scan. I noticed this because I do a lot of broadcasts in iRacing and spend a lot of time placing cameras, and this is inside Turn 1 in the iRacing laser scan, this exact truck. And I think that's so cool and speaks to the amount of detail. It's not just
detail.
Any Dodge truck. It's this particular one with that funky bumper, and it's really, really cool. So I just had to get that out. We're going to take a very short break. We'll be back with Time Attack Group C in a few moments. Back live at Lime Rock Park for GRIDLIFE Circuit Legends Festival in Lakeville, Connecticut. Kyle Heyer, joined by Richard from Racing Pride, waiting the start of Group C for Track Battle. We'll get the cars on track here shortly, and while we wait, I want to talk a little bit about the event in general, right? We're celebrating cars from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s, and what a spectacle it has been. Some of the cars in the paddock, Richard, I have seen, there's a 1976 BMW that's out in Track Battle that I didn't think anyone would be crazy enough to drive. The thing is so gorgeous. I can't believe it's out there competing, but it's all about celebrating motorsports history, and that concourse event we're going to have tomorrow and have all those cars up on the hill, it is going to be a spectacle.
Yeah, there's some amazing cars, I mean, of all eras, but also those classics, I guess you can say now, going up to the early 2000s. Yeah, some fantastic looking machines, some great liveries too. FCP's come here with a Schaeffler liveried Mercedes that's turning a lot of heads. I saw it in their workshop just before they brought it up to the track, so I had a bit of a sneak preview. I know they're very proud of it, but yeah, that's looking awesome there in the paddock. There's
Mark on pit lane waiting for the cars to roll down and get turned loose onto the racetrack. I'm not sure if they're doing a cleanup or something, or if I've gotten a text. Looks like I have not gotten a text from anybody to tell me why we're on a delay. So Devin did say that she cooked her tires and lost a GoPro. So her outlap didn't go so hot, it looks like. She might have been out there for a couple more laps before we caught her on track. So I didn't see her in the ticker yet, but she probably was tucked in there somewhere. Adam Jabay just texted me, our motorsports director. He was out there a little earlier in GLTC qualifying, said this track is bonkers fun, is what he said. And I think there's something to that about the track being only 1.5 miles. You do it under a minute. I really like short laps because you get reps, you get opportunities to continue to improve yourself every lap. I love tracks like Road America, big, long, 4.5 mile tracks. The one thing you can't do there, though, is you can't do 20 laps in a session. You get 5, 6, 7 before the checkered flag flies. So there's got to be a benefit to getting more reps around a short track, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they both have the different challenges. I love laps that are short and intense because I love to get into that rhythm. You get a real flow as a driver where the corners are coming back at you again fairly soon. But then equally, I was driving at Spa a couple of months ago, Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, and that's a huge lap. Even in my prototype, it's over 2 minutes. And, yeah, there's a majesty to that as well, having so much track to drive into.
And speaking about the racetrack that we're at this weekend, Lime Rock Park, what a historic North American facility, built in 1956. I was talking earlier with Sam Posey and with Nate Brown about the tracks that kind of American racers grew up on: Watkins Glen, Road America, Lime Rock Park, Laguna Seca, Sebring. This is just one of those classic facilities, and you feel it when you drive in. I know everyone that's here had to drive on a long, windy country road, and you get here and it feels like a destination. It's like a little, it's just a little microcosm of a racing community tucked into the mountains in Connecticut. I think that's so cool and kind of rare now with new racetracks. A track like this would never get built here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, it's amazing when you come off these country roads, you wouldn't suspect this track is here. But yeah, you come down into it, and it's in this valley as well. I love tracks that are sort of down in a valley with slopes leading down to them. It makes it feel like a stadium. There's one called Brands Hatch in the UK that very much feels like that, and it just adds to the intensity of racing there while you're driving, and you can kind of in your eye line you can see spectators standing above you, and yeah, it feels like you're in a football stadium or soccer, as you'd call it, and yeah, it just adds to the intensity of the atmosphere.
Cars on track now for Time Attack Group C, and lovely sights up from turn 4 on the hill. If you're by the arcade here on site with us at the racetrack, if you're by the arcade, look at these sights you can see, turns 1 through 4, the no-name straight leading to the uphill, that incredible climb, this abrupt, you get compressed into the race car, then you head up over the crest, and then the track falls away. The car gets light. You have to kind of dance around. The RPMs are going to climb while the wheels spin, and then you land again, do 2 more corners, and then head off the other side of the cliff, down the hill, into the compression. It's a roller coaster around here.
Yeah, everyone loves tracks with a bit of up and down. You know, you've gotta have that. Those hills, those bumps, they give character to a track.
Let's have a look at our 3D track guide here. If you're with us at the track and you're by the Jumbotron, here's a look at Lime Rock Park, 1.5 miles around. And again, it's that long straightaway. It's not that long in terms of North American road courses. There's plenty longer around the world, but this is the longest straight here. Into turn 1, you're on the brakes hard. You're going to kind of apex turn 1 and turn 2 separately. That's all part of Big Bend. You're going to swing the car off to driver's right, and then into turn 3, the left-hander. It's the only left-hand corner on this entire racetrack. Turn 4, juke back to the right, and then a run up to turn 5, and that is where that uphill is, that intense climb up to the top of the hill. Turn 6, it looks like a kink on the map, but it really is a corner. Big, gnarly curb on the inside you have to miss. And then turn 7 back down the hill again to the other side. That's a lap at Lime Rock Park, and all of that happens in under a minute.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's amazing to me to have, only one left-hander on the course. I mean, it's not a boring course by any stretch of the imagination, but, that changes things to have just the one left-hander, particularly on such a high-speed circuit, because it demands a lot of the car, particularly the left-hand side of the car. As you're going into a right-hander, you're loading up the outside tires, so the 2 left-hand tires, you're putting a lot of heat and a lot of wear through those, so you've got to be conscious of that if you're doing a lot of laps. And sometimes you'll even find teams setting the car up asymmetrically on a circuit like that, so not putting the same settings into the suspension or the camber and things, just to compensate for the extra support that side of the car needs.
Left side tires was a topic I chatted about with Nate Brown earlier. How much load you're putting on those left side tires. It's significantly more than the rights around here. Cars on track now for Time Attack Group C, and Tegan Fostenson up at the top of the board in the 21 Subaru, a 102.944. Acosta in the number 450. I think that's a name that's new to us here in Track Battle. That's Christopher Acosta out of Ozone Park, New York, with the C Plus Racing team in a 1997 Honda Civic in the track modified class. The 247 car that runs third right now, that's Patrick Huxley out of Cheshire, Connecticut, 1992 Honda Civic. There is Tegan rolling through turn number 3. And love the Rad Hangs Racing livery on this car, the purple, pink, and the blue, and the big silver sticker on the side. It's an easy car to spot from a distance.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing as soon as that came on the screen. And just before that, we saw a little lock-up, which is easy to do when the tires aren't quite up to temperature and you're getting a bit keen on that brake pedal, but it looks spectacular.
One thing that this car will not struggle with is the uphill with the all-wheel drive coming up over the crest, the front and rear of the car pulling and pushing at the same time. So you're not going to get squirrely. You're not going to get understeer necessarily from front-wheel drive. You got the wheel wrong and it's going to go one direction. You're going to go the other. So Subaru's all-wheel drive system is very, very good. We see these cars do very well in our track battle classes in street modified. This particular car is in the street class, and we see a lot of Subarus, a lot of Evos from Mitsubishi in street class as well.
Yeah, having that all-wheel drive is a huge advantage in tracks with a lot of bumps and undulation, and obviously it gives you a lot of confidence as well in the natural balance of the car. I remember growing up, I absolutely loved watching the Subaru Impreza in the World Rally Championship. I was a big fan of Petter Solberg. He won it in 2003 in an Impreza, so I've always liked Subarus from that point.
There's Acosta and the 450 rolling through Big Bend right now. That white Honda Civic with the arrow on it, and then heading into, actually that's the 247, that's Huxley in the EG. We were looking at a later model Honda Civic just ahead. Nate Brown is also on track. He'll be joining me for GLTC in a little bit. Right now in the 994 Volkswagen GTI in street class. There's Nate Brown on the no-name straight. And Volkswagen, the GTI, that's another car that we probably don't see enough of on the racetrack. One of those hot hatches that is just a joy to drive on the street.
Yeah, hot hatches are always great fun. I mean, they're not really track cars as such, but yeah, around a track like this, actually, they might be okay. They're obviously quite short wheelbase, and the center of gravity is a little bit high for that, but yeah, they're certainly great fun to chuck around, and Nate's fantastic. He's been a great supporter of Racing Pride from FCP Euro as well.
Yeah, we've got the Mustang. You guys have a lot more hot hatches over there in Europe than
Oh, yeah, we love a hot hatch. I mean, at the moment, I've got a hire car over here, a Chevy Malibu, and it is, it feels, one, huge to me, and
yes.
Secondly, it is so soft and, like, you know, I say it's lolloping, but, like, people here laugh at me because that's not a word you use, but...
I like that. I like that a lot. But no, I mean, think of the car like the GR Yaris that we don't get here. We get the GR Corolla, but I think everyone would like the Yaris instead, a little lighter, a little less weight to carry around. But you know, that's a new car, but there's, you know, plenty of makes and models over the years that we didn't get the good versions of. I'm thinking of the Ford Focus SVT. No, what was that? The like older Focus, the early 2000s. What was that?
Yeah, the ST, the standard transmission Focus.
Maybe it was I mean, we got the ST here, but there was another. They had a cooler one,
I see.
and we didn't get that one, so that's a bummer. But
I mean, a lot of the time as well, though, when you have some of the cars coming out over here and they cost like half the price they do in the UK, I mean, that stings as well.
That's true. Yeah, that's probably a thing for sure. But cars on track right now. The 543 to the top of the board. That's a street GT car. Vincent Nardone from South Boston, Massachusetts. Formula Vin is the team for that car. It's a 2014 Ford Mustang. That's the street GT car atop the timing and scoring right now. I met Michael Budai yesterday in the 204. He was excited to be here. And that car, he's out of Prairieville, New York, in a 2002 Honda Civic. There's a good look at a BMW, the 603 car on track at the moment. And that is Johnson behind the wheel. Andrew Johnson out of Milford, Connecticut. That is, I think, where iRacing was or is based. My fun fact on Milford, Connecticut. The only fact on Milford, Connecticut I have.
Well, it's also the headquarters of FCP Euro. Who are,
oh, that might be what it is.
Yeah,
I'm probably mixing those two things up.
Why they're everywhere here at Lime Rock Park as well.
That's
but yeah, I was there the day before. Well, no, it was yesterday. Yesterday morning. My time zones. I'm all over the place. But yeah, cool facility they've got there, and yeah. But yeah, lovely place. And everyone loves a BMW as well. Nice to see that on track. And you find at club events in the UK, and here to an extent too, you just get so many BMWs. They're just a classic car to modify for club racing. You strip them out, and they're, you know, rear-wheel drive and a fun thing.
Yeah, I have to backtrack. iRacing has always been headquartered in Massachusetts. It was FCP Euro that was based there. That was what I was getting my.
So your one fun
my
fact.
northeastern. My one fun fact is really wrong.
Oh,
that
no.
happens on occasion, but it's all the Northeast. It's still, you know, it's all close together up here.
Yeah,
I'm in the Midwest now, where everything's 500 miles apart, and you have to drive 8 hours to get a place.
Yeah, that is the thing that really strikes you when you come here from the UK. Like, you know,
it's big.
Saying, oh, Lime Rock Park's close to New York, and I mean, I got a train for a couple of hours, and then I got a hire car for another hour, and you know, in the UK, that's like half the length of England that you'd have driven.
Yeah, all right. Well, we do have, looks like a black flag or a yellow flag. It's really a black flag in this session. There it is. Looks like Brian in the 444 Volkswagen didn't quite get that in time, so he will head across the front straightaway. There was a big smoke cloud in turn one, I think, from Brian overcooking there a little bit and kicked some dust up. But there, I saw a car stop between turns 6 and 7, and that is the reason for the black flag. So all the cars will come down to pit lane. We'll send out the safety vehicles and go pick up whoever's stuck out there, and we'll turn them back loose for a few minutes. But this will stop this session for now.
Yeah, it is spectacular when you see that dust kicked up on the exit of turn 2, particularly in the drift sessions where you got tyre smoke combining with dust. It makes for some great pictures, I'm sure, for the pro photographers that are here.
Yeah, they're great shots everywhere here. Even if there's no cars on track, it's a beautiful shot. You know, the thing about the dust here, there's a little bit of a drought up here in Connecticut right now, and it is pretty dusty, and that's typically not the case. So visibility, certainly, when that gets kicked up, that can be a bad thing. So especially if you have a big dust cloud, it's good to back off and kind of, you know, go around another lap and wait for it to settle. But you mentioned the drift guys. Those guys kick up their own dust, all the rubber and smoke. What a spectacular sight that is. We're drifting for the first time ever. Not just us. Lime Rock Park is experiencing drift for the first time ever, which is a pretty monumental moment, I think, in the track's history. It's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I feel privileged to be here seeing that, and it's amazing as well when you see like the ASM guys. You know, they're so close together as well when they're drifting, which, you know, shows a lot of trust in each other's abilities as well.
Yeah, that'll be coming up. We'll have one more drift session after GLTC Race 1. So if you're trackside with us, we got plenty more action coming your way. Time Attack Group C is heading back to the paddock here. We've got a car to go retrieve, and then we'll set ourselves up for the last Time Attack session, which includes Sunday Cup. And that is one of my favorite classes, Richard, because it is a class that is really easy to get into because it's inexpensive, and it's a really good class to end up in after you're done spending money on your other cars, to end up in Sunday Cup. It's just a great catch-all. Look at these people having fun. I don't know where that is, if it's on a bridge somewhere, but just enjoying the, maybe they can see something through there, dangling the legs through the FCP Euro bridge on the front straight.
Yeah, it looks like fun anyway, doesn't it?
It does. I'm not sure what, I haven't actually had a chance to go over the bridge yet and see what's over there. But it feels like I'm where I should be. The inside's got a lot of cool attractions. It's great. We just saw a drone sail through the shot there. That was cool. But there's a lot of great things to look at and see here at Lime Rock Park. And there's not really a bad vantage point around here.
No, it's amazing. I've only been to a few different places to watch, mostly turns 2, 3, 4. But, yeah, it's just such spectacular scenery.
So in turn 1, there's a little tidbit, a true fact that I have. I promise this time it's not wrong. Lime Rock Park was originally planned to be almost twice as long as it is today. It was never constructed this way, but on this drone shot, if we look down towards turn 1, the track is going to curve to the right. The runoff room, here it is, here's a good shot. The runoff goes straight. Now that is runoff now, but in the original plan, you would have continued to go straight down the straightaway and gone straight up into the mountains. You would have climbed the mountains for about a mile and had a bunch of big sweeping curves and then come down and rejoin where today we have the left-hander. So there was an additional mile and a half or so of track that never got planned. They couldn't get the land rights or something of the sort. But how cool would it have been to have Lime Rock be truly in the woods? You would head up into the mountains, and really it would be an insane racetrack to have today. Yeah,
I mean, that sounds a lot like Spa, which is, you know, one of the most famous tracks in the world, going up through the forest. It's just iconic where you go through Eau Rouge and Radi on that sweeping corners up the hill, and then the Camel Straight that goes on and on, tree-lined. Yeah, it'd be just like that. I'm sure some people go exploring a little bit still where that old bit of track is into turn 1. It's nice to have that bit of runoff there.
It is good to have that runoff there. And we did see a car that was in the tire bundles down there at the exit of turn 7 on driver's right. Didn't get a number on that car. Can't quite read it off the door.
Yeah, that's gone in backwards there, it looks like.
Yep, and the tire bundles are pushed about the car length back from where they were. But that's the great thing about tire barriers, and I'm sure as a professional driver, you've probably had a couple of moments where you've been in a tire bundle.
There have been times.
And I'm sure it's not fun, but it's better than hitting metal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the best thing is they have these Tech Pro barriers now. They're kind of like plastic, and you just nudge them and nothing really happens to your car. It's great. Tire barriers like this, it's all about what angle you go in at. You want to do what's happened here and go either, you know, front or rear, but you want to go square on into a tire barrier. You probably get less damage on your car. If you go in with steering lock on in a corner, you might start damaging your suspension and things. So, yeah, hopefully they're going to get out of there with minimal damage on the car and just be able to go again.
Yeah, I hope so. That's Sean Hennigan, the number 96 out of Chicago, Illinois, 1999 Honda Civic that's gone in backwards there at turn number 7. Sean's already out of the car. That's good news, but thankfully, you know, gone in backwards. It didn't look like it was with a lot of velocity either. It didn't look like a lot of body work was crumpled or anything.
Yeah, it looks like maybe just lost it on the exit of the corner on the acceleration, or maybe gone a bit wide, got a bit ambitious. But as well with like a road car chassis, that's normally fine. The one thing you got to be careful of with a single-seater or a more fragile prototype is if you just damage the gearbox by going in backwards. But yeah, you'd have thought with the car they're in, they'll have got away with that one.
Yeah, I think there's other considerations as well. Anytime you're rolling backwards to get the clutch in, get the car into neutral, you don't want to spin the engine backwards.
Yeah,
that could really mess some things up.
Something that you learn early, yeah. Especially if you've got a turbo on it or a supercharger, you don't want it to be, you know, cycling one way really fast and then having to snap back the other way. That's not good for it. But hopefully got on the clutch when it started spinning.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things that for me instinctively, I've had one spin out so far. I don't track a lot, so it's an embarrassing area of fun. But it was at like 25 miles an hour on a pit exit. Shh, don't tell anybody. But it was, I just told everybody. But I instinctively just pushed the clutch in, only having sim experience where I learned to keep the car, you know, from stalling in the racing sim. So, you know, I talk about iRacing a lot and what you can learn from a racing sim. I think muscle memory in regards to what your feet are doing, that's something that you can pick up. It happened to me. I spun the car out and didn't stall it by getting the clutch in quick. So that's something that is useful that otherwise, if you don't have the experience of doing it in real life or in the sim, you might end up killing your car rolling backwards and breaking
in those
stuff.
Moments, it's so important to just have like an instinctive reaction that works. You don't have time to think about it really. A little bit easier where your right foot braking is got to be said, where you have your left foot naturally hovering over the clutch anyway. In a lot of race cars, your left foot braking, and so your foot isn't automatically in the right place to put it on the clutch. But I imagine in that car, they probably will have been right foot braking, so hopefully got that clutch down in time.
Yeah, there are some cars, there are plenty of cars here that are you know, semi-automatics, or they've got PDKs in Porsche's case, or some kind of sequential, you know, in the higher classes like Unlimited, so there are definitely circumstances where that might not apply. So that particular car, though, very likely that it does. So we're under red flag condition here, just waiting for the track to be cleared and the barriers to be reset, and we'll turn Time Attack Track Battle back loose for a couple more sessions. GLTC Race 1 is coming up just after that, and we'll finish off the day with GRIDLIFE Drift. And again, earlier today we had about 40 drift cars go out on track for their first session, tentatively trying to sort things out, kind of get their bearings. The second session was really wild. We had our interview with Sam Posey during some of that, but I got to see the tail end of it, and man, they were really starting to send it. So by the time we get to this afternoon session, I think everyone's going to be pretty comfortable going for as much angle as they can get.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Although you say tentatively, but the FCP Euro drift car with, I think it's Michael Essen.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that led them out and was sensible for the parade lap. But then the first time he went for it, there was a lot of smoke already coming off those tires.
Turned it loose. And he was telling us, I think, that you can get one lap out of the tires if you drift the whole track. So that's a very effective way to turn money into smoke.
But one of the most fun ways.
It is one of the most fun ways, probably. But it's really cool. I'm glad to have the FCP Euro here at this event. And Michael Essa and Nate Brown and Nate Vincent's here as well. They've got the Mercedes-AMG GT4 that they campaign in the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series. That car is here in the paddock. So if you're around and you want to see an IMSA race car, we have one here. We've got classic IMSA race cars that will be at the concourse tomorrow as well. So there's racing history from the 1970s all the way to now that's in the paddock here this weekend, which is part of the Circuit Legends idea. And we hope to be back in the future and continue with this incredible event. I've just been blown away by the racetrack, blown away by all the local competitors that have just joined us here for a GRIDLIFE event for maybe the first or second time. Great people, and I looked at the track battle list. I think 50% of it was New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania people that we don't typically get to see. Really exciting stuff.
Yeah, and that IMSA car, that GT4, is right next to the Racing Pride booth in the paddock. And so it's been next to me most of the day, and I've been so tempted to throw my kit on and get in that. But it's a great looking car as well. The livery on it is fantastic. But yeah, it's a car that I'd feel fairly at home in, I think, being a pretty typical GT4 car. And yeah, it's tough standing there in the paddock with this amazing circuit there, this amazing car there, and not being able to just go. But yeah.
I think we'll take a short break. I'm not sure how long. Well, never mind. I'm going to cancel that because we see the car on the rollback. I was just about to step away, but I wasn't sure how long it would take to reset the barrier. So maybe we'll stick around for a little while longer here. Didn't want to just talk everybody's ears off while we're sitting on a cold racetrack for now. So the 96 will head back in. And honestly, the damage does not look bad, if I'm being honest with you.
No, it looks pretty okay.
I've seen cars that are competitive that look much worse than that, and did that, intentionally, trying to get their trunk to close with their aftermarket whatever. But it's looking good now, so he'll attend to it and probably be back on track tomorrow, I'd hope.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So again, we're waiting on Track Battle C to get on track, and then actually C or D we're going to be moving on to here shortly. Schedule will likely get pushed just a little bit. I'm keeping my eye on it to make sure that we're not losing track here. GLTC Race 1 is coming up. If you've never seen a GridLife Touring Cup race, Richard, they are fantastic. We have 31 cars here this weekend. We racked up, stacked up, two wide, 15 rows deep on the start. We have the cream of the crop. We've got ASM here in full. We've got Eric Catil is back in his 1992 Civic EG sedan, a brand new build. Luke McGrew is back. All the people that, if you've been following GridLife Touring Cup all year long, those are the big guns right at the top of the list, and they're here ready to race this evening.
Yeah, I've seen some onboards on socials and stuff, particularly from Tom O'Gorman, who's one of the Racing Pride ambassadors. Obviously, I follow him closely, and he's doing an amazing job. But yeah, I've seen some of his onboards, and the racing looks intense, but also really respectful. Like, you know, it looks like they do give each other just enough room. I think on this track, it's going to be interesting to see how they go. I mean, Tomo was saying after qualifying he was really happy to have put it on pole here because it is a tight track. It's not necessarily going to be that easy to overtake, but those guys, having seen the onboards, they're definitely going to be giving it a great shot doing some overtaking.
You're mentioning Tom was doing well. Well, here's his last 12 results. I'm just going to read them off. First, fourth, fifth. That's pretty good. I don't think you can't really do much better than that.
Yeah, I know he was gutted about the fifth, but
So at Mid-Ohio, the race that he finished fourth, I asked him what was going on, and he had cracked a wheel. And he was using another set of wheels that was, I think, 5 pounds heavier per corner, and that was the only difference between him winning the race and finishing fourth, 25 pounds of unsprung weight. That's all it took to bring him from first to fourth. It is close margins, and despite Tom's dominance this season, there are a bunch of drivers that are right there ready to pounce if anything goes wrong. Andy Smedegaard, his team owner, you know, all the first I just read put Andy second and third in that mix. Jeremy Swenson, who's not here this weekend, his average finish this year, 2.6. He's never finished worse than fifth this year, and that was once. Every other result has been a second or a third. Insane.
Yeah, I remember when I started racing in prototypes the first season I had a really close rivalry with a guy called Chippy Wesmail, who actually ended up being a teammate of mine further down the line. But he had this string of first places, and in each one of them, we'd been, like, I swear our cars were overlapping going over the line, but he was always just slightly ahead until I found those couple of tweaks, those couple of things that just give you an extra literally few hundredths a lap, and then it's just enough to be just in front of shot rather than just half a car length behind. But yeah, just because someone's winning lots of races doesn't mean there aren't fantastic battles going on.
Oh, and it's going to be very competitive this weekend for sure. I think we're going to take a break. I'm not sure how long this cleanup will be, so we'll step back in when Time Attack continues here from Lime Rock Park for GridLife Circuit Legends. Back live at Lime Rock Park, GRIDLIFE Circuit Legends. Track Battle Group D is on track now, and this is one of my favorite groups, Richard, because we've got our Falcon Sunday Cup category. This is a category that's designed for cars like the Honda Fit, the Mazda 2, the Toyota Yaris, and many others. On the timing and scoring, if you're watching at home, the pink is the Sunday Cup category, and there are lots of them, and this is one of our most competitive time attack classes.
Yeah, sometimes you find that with the kind of what seem like more entry-level classes that are really accessible, you actually find that you get a lot of people who just absolutely love the sport and sometimes have actually got a fair bit of experience, and it can be super competitive and really close on time, so they're often fantastic to watch.
So far, the best time that we've seen out of a Honda Fit was Michael Ross Smith at a 105.340, so he's only about 0.3 off that right now. Michael's in a silver Honda Fit, the 395 car. Matt Williams is on track also in a blue Honda Fit, the number 129, a 105.831. Matt Williams and that car, I believe, statistically are the winningest time attack car in GRIDLIFE.
Wow.
The number of times that car has won its class is the most of any category, which is really impressive. Jacob Abbott, he's got the teeth in the front of his Honda Fit, but there he is, Jacob Abbott from Abbott Auto Performance. This is so fun. He had a little bit of an oopsie at Autobahn and dented the door, and he said, I don't care, it was $800. I just he put it back in the trailer, took it back to the shop, and got the suspension straight, and has it back here at Lime Rock.
There we go, yeah. I mean, those jaws on the front, people talk about eating up the track. He's taking that pretty literally.
Actually, though. And what's cool about this is, like, we talk about this class being an easy entry-level category. It's entry-level from a cost perspective. It is certainly not entry-level from a competitive perspective. We see some of the closest battles in track battle here in this category. Right now, Jacob Abbott is about half a second behind Kyle Karstens, and Kyle Karstens is only about a half a second back from Matt Williams, and Matt Williams is only a 10th back from Michael Ross Smith in the 395. So incredibly competitive. Anthony Novelli in the HTR 235 car, he is about 0.3 back from Abbott, and Stuart Storm, who I think is new to us here this weekend, he is back a little bit ways from there. But all those cars, we have just over half a dozen of them here this weekend, maybe closing in on 10 now with some late entries. And Sam Dooling's on track, the 370 car. That's a dark blue Honda Fit, like a navy color. And Sam Dooling is one of our volunteers here on the staff, and he does a lot of the tech with Sophie and Jacob, and they do a lot of the tech work here for us. And they do such a great job, and they have the biggest smiles on their faces. I say it every single time, but they are just awesome. I'm so glad that Sam got some time on track and gets to have a little bit of a smile on his face at the end of the day. Cool stuff.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, this is one of the things about GRIDLIFE. You don't see this in most race meetings, but it's fantastic how everyone just gets involved and people get chances to go and have some fun and be part of it. Yeah,
it's really cool. And again, I like the idea of lowering the barrier to entry, because when you lower the barrier to entry, from a cost perspective, you raise the level of competitiveness because more people can get into it. And, I mentioned it's a good entry-level class, but it certainly is a great place to fall into if you're tired of spending $250,000 a year on making your Evo go, have 1,600 horsepower. That gets tiring after a while. You just want to drive. And this is a great place to come and really get some competition. But with that, that's already the end of Track Battle D. They didn't get a lot of time because of that short session. So, Richard, thanks so much for joining me here, and it was a blast to have you alongside us, and I hope that you'll enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll see you later tonight up at the arcade.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. It's been great fun and a new vantage point for me. And, yeah, hope to see lots of you at the arcade and chat with a load of you about Racing Pride. We have the booth in the paddock as well. Please come up and say hi and show your support for LGBTQ plus inclusion in motorsport.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Richard. We're going to step away very briefly. GLTC Race 1 is up in just a few moments. Thanks so much. GRIDLIFE Circuit Legends is brought to you by Momo, made in Italy since 1964. And by FCP Euro. Every part you buy is guaranteed for life. And by eBay Motors. Let's ride. And by Falcon Tires. The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the official tire of Club TR. And by Pilot Transport, the official logistics partner of GRIDLIFE Circuit Legends.
and we're racing. The Hightower pushes Jensen along the exit of turn number 4. This win, it's big slide. It's time to go racing at GRIDLIFE Midwest. Hill side by side. O'Gorman around the outside now for the top spot. Tom O'Gorman goes to lead. 3 wide to the lead.
This is great racing, folks. This is what this series is all about.
Wheel-to-wheel racing the GRIDLIFE way. Welcome back to Lime Rock Park and GRIDLIFE Circuit Legends here in Lakeville, Connecticut, getting set for our first of 4 wheel-to-wheel races with GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. Hi, everybody. Kyle Heyer, joined by Nathan Brown from FCP Euro as we get set for our first of 4 sprint races here this weekend. 12 to 15 minutes is all the time these drivers have to race here tonight, Nathan, so there's a lot on the line for those that didn't get a lot of time in practice and qualifying to storm through the field.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of glory on the line, too. This is the first GLTC race here at Lime Rock Park, so who's going to get the glory of that first win?
Well, I know Tom O'Gorman's starting on pole, and he's got a lot of wins. We just touched on that in the track battle sessions. But Eric Cattell, by the way, how about the Hybrid Racing EG, qualified in second. After Mid-Ohio, he was like, you know what, I don't know if this car is really as fast as I was hoping it would be. Here, it's very fast. That lightweight car is performing very, very well. He will start on the front row alongside Tom O'Gorman. A lot of new faces here in this field, but a lot of familiar ones as well. So the cars are going to take to the track here in just a couple of minutes. They're on false grid right now. When they roll, we're going to have 2 pace laps, Nathan, to get everyone racked up, stacked up. It'll be 2 rows. Or 2 wide, 15 rows deep. And then we're going to head off into turn 1, green flag. And then after about 12 to 15 minutes, then we're going to throw the checker. And race 2 tomorrow morning will be set by fastest lap from this session. So, yes, this is a race, but it's also a qualifying for tomorrow. If you don't get a good start, who's to say you shouldn't just back it down and get a clean lap for tomorrow? Yeah,
try to get a flyer in, try to get a good position for race 2. And if you're here trackside and you don't happen to be up on the hill above the left-hander there, that's definitely the spot to be. Start making your way there pretty soon here.
Yeah, it's going to be a great spot. The left-hander is the only left-hand corner on this entire racetrack. Let's have a look here at our 3D track map. If you're trackside near the Jumbotron, that'll be helpful. If you're at home, you don't have to go anywhere. Here's a look at Lime Rock Park. 1.5 miles, 7 turns, 6 of them to the right and 1 to the left, but lots of elevation and climbs over the course of this lap.
Absolutely, and not a lot of time to race as you go to rest as you go through there. Turn 1, 2, fairly wide. You can definitely go too deep there, but it starts getting narrow as soon as you get to that left-hander. We'll see how people handle getting it onto the no-name straight.
Then you get onto the no-name straight, and it's a little bit of a slalom back and forth, right to left. And then you had to turn 5, and this is a commitment corner. And talked to Simon Kirkby, who is an instructor here, and we talked about the uphill section. He goes, all your life you're taught not to turn in early, but at turn 5, the way the track is, it will reward you for doing that, which is so counterintuitive. But when the car grips and sticks, you will sail over the top of that hill. You might get a little airborne, you land, and then you have West Bend to deal with.
Yeah, I tell you what, if that's what Simon says, it's the way to go.
Simon says.
Yeah, exactly.
Simon says turn in early. Then you head down to turn 7. That's the downhill portion, and then that's going to be, you're going to get a little light at the crest of that, and then big compression at the bottom before you turn back to the right and head down the front straightaway. So for those that are new to GRIDLIFE Touring Cup, it is a wheel-to-wheel racing. This is just like any racing that you watch on TV. First across the line is your winner. You're going to line up 2 rows wide, 15 rows deep for the start of this race. Is all one class. Everybody is racing each other, but this is a power to weight class, meaning how is that Corvette running against that Miata? Well, the Corvette is 1,000 pounds heavier, but it's also got 80 more horsepower. So those things equal out relatively depending on the track. There will be horses for courses, as Greg Kramer likes to say. The big heavy cars will tend to do better at tracks like Circuit of the Americas and Road America. The lighter cars like Eric Cattell's EG, that will probably be a better car for this particular track. So it's a really interesting dynamic between big and heavy and light and nimble. And I think this is going to be a really good track for those lighter cars. We'll see how Eric does.
Yeah, it is interesting, especially with power to weight and things like that and torque. And depending on what kind of traffic we see, if we do get into traffic, those higher torque cars may be able to get off some of these corners just a little better if they get bogged down in traffic. It's hard to say, but we'll see what happens.
You don't really slow down a lot here, so there's not a lot of digs. And one of the tracks we go to, Heartland Motorsport Park in Topeka, Kansas, there's a lot of areas where you really slow down slow, then dig off of the corners, and that will really benefit the V8s like Eric Jensen or Luke McGrew or Clayton Fitzpatrick. But this kind of track will, again, you're carrying speed, carrying momentum, and you don't really slow down, so you don't really need to get to go faster. You carry, 80 miles an hour to 120 for most of the lap. So cars racked up, stacked up on the front straightaway. We still have one more pace lap to do Drivers are weaving to get some temperature in the tires and brakes. O'Gorman really weaving those tires back and forth, literally sliding the car. I haven't seen anyone weave that aggressively in a long time.
Yeah, it's a little bit of drift action, something along those lines.
Let's roll through our starting grid now for the first race of the weekend for GRIDLIFE Touring Cup. And we'll get you the entire grid, 30 rows deep. Row number 1, Tom O'Gorman in the number 94 from ASM. And Eric Cattell rolls off in second in the number 82 from Hybrid Racing. Robert Thorne starts in third alongside Andy Smedegaard from ASM. He will start in fourth. Then in row number 3 on the inside, starting in fifth, that's going to be Austin Hurdle making his GLTC return in his 2013 Nissan Z. Matt Waldbaum, recent race winner from Mid-Ohio, starts in sixth. Row 4, Ronnie Vidoc in the number 1. That's that Honda Challenge Acura Integra, and then Luke McGrew rolls off in 8th. Row 5 is Tyler Pappas in his 1995 BMW 330, and Zach Lavoie rolls off in 10th in the number 42 from ASM. Row number 6, Charles-Andre Billaudieuf from Canada in his 2020 Ford Mustang starts 11th, and in 12th place, Salil Shukla in the number 410. That's a red Honda S2000. Eric Jensen starts in 13th place. Matan Rosenberg, the youngster, 18 years old, rolls off in 14th place on the outside of row 7. Joshua Rubenstein rolls off in row 8 alongside Jacob Price in his Mazda Miata in 16th place. Row number 9, DJ Alessandrini returns to GLTC action in Kevin Zhu's Honda Civic. Eric Thompson starts 18th in his Toyota Celica. Row number 10, Dustin Barty starts in 19th place, and Don Louis rolls off in 20th in the number 363. Row 11, Matt Corrins out of Canada in the 2012 Honda Civic starts 21st. Rob Gagliardo from FCP Euro has got his 2011 Porsche Cayman starting in 22nd. Brian DeFury starts 23rd alongside Adam Jabay in the number 22. He will be racing in his 1988 Honda CRX. Time to go racing from Lime Rock Park. GRIDLIFE Circuit Legends action for the first time ever. GLTC takes on the hills and valleys of Lakeville, Connecticut. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Lime Rock Park. O'Gorman, a strong run down towards turn number 1. Eric Cattell on the outside. Smedegaard looks outside 3 wide. He can't do it. We're still side by side. Cattell drifts out a little wide. 3 wide in the background there, Nate, as we make our way through turn 2.
Yeah, keeping it nice and tidy there. Eric's maintained in P2 there, although a strong charge from Robert Thorne there almost snuck inside.
Robert Thorne almost had position. Andy Smedegaard to his outside, a pinch point there on the entrance to the right-hander onto the no-name straight. The first time onto the backstretch, O'Gorman leads. Cattell runs second. Then it's Thorne, Smedegaard, Waldbaum, Hurdle. There's Vidoc in the number 1 car, the Acura Integra behind him, over the uphill for the first time.
And a little bit of a breakaway already for the first 4 cars with Smedegaard sort of gapping P5 there.
Everyone a little tentative right now, just trying not to overstep the bounds here in unfamiliar territory. Just a practice in a qualifying that was shortened a little bit to kind of figure out how your car is going to grip at race conditions. Big dust cloud from Andy Smedegaard out of turn number 7. Across the line, though, O'Gorman leads. Cattell half a second back. Thorne 1.1 back from the race leader. Here comes Thorne on the outside now with Smedegaard into turn 1.
Yep, looks like Smedegaard is actually does it, pulls it off on the inside, has position, and will maintain there.
Great work there from Smedegaard to hang on to that spot for now. And into turn 3, the left-hander again. Everyone tucking in tight, some side-by-side behind him. I think one of those cars was Zach Lavoie. Luke McGrew potentially battling with him. And just behind, that's Tyler Pappas involved in that fight. So McGrew, Lavoie, Pappas all fighting for 8th place now as they head up onto the backstretch.
Yeah, I know that Tyler Pappas has quite a few laps here. He's fairly local down in New Jersey, so he should be able to read the nuance a bit as the track continues to wear in. Big
roller coaster there. We saw Luke McGrew head up over the crest. He's not unfamiliar with big V8 rear-wheel drive at tracks like this. Think back to 2019 Road Atlanta with his Dodge Viper ACR. He knows how to do this. Here's Zach Lavoie trailing Luke McGrew onto the front straightaway. Lavoie crosses him over. Now a drag race down the front stretch. Lavoie tucks in line, but it's going to be a challenge to outrun this Corvette down the front stretch. Here he comes, though, to the inside.
It looked like he had a run. I'm not sure if he's got quite enough to get it done through Big Bend, but we'll see. If he can maintain position, he might be able to, stick around.
Great battles there. Matt Waldbaum kind of just outside of the top 4 in 5th, a couple tenths of a second behind Robert Thorne. Thorne is heating up Andy Smedegaard again. Cattell fell to 1.2 seconds behind O'Gorman now as we head up the no-name straight. Austin Hurdle, a very strong start, running 6th right now, and Vidoc in the number 1. That Acura Integra continues to run inside the top 10, 7th for now for the Silver Integra.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the front-wheel drive Hondas doing well here. You don't see quite as many of them as like the K-swapped S2000s and so on, so it's clearly a good track for the front-wheel drive chassis.
And down through turn number 7, again, just big commitment there. Tomo is used to it. He's been here before in a TCR Honda, so he definitely knows the way around this racetrack. Leads by this time 1.8 seconds over Catil. Then it's Smedegaard behind him. And deeper in the field, Lavoie, has he gotten by McGrew this time? Whoa, big lockup into turn 1 for somebody. Big smoke.
That was Cutillo who locked up there. You could see the car squirming around under braking there. He is absolutely pushing to try and keep up with Tomo, but Tom's kind of checking out just a tiny bit at this point.
Eric Jensen in the black FRS has Charles-Andre Billadou from Canada right behind him. V8 FRS versus a 2020 Ford Mustang right behind him. This is a fantastic scrap for position. A little bit of dust cloud kicking up out of turn 3, but that battle between the V8s down in 10th place is fantastic. Here's Jake Price. And that is Salil Shukla battling for position a little bit deeper behind them in 12th place.
Yeah, everybody's keeping it pretty clean so far. Definitely a lot of battles all along this racetrack, which is kind of what it's known for. It races really, really well, despite the short distance and the really high speeds.
Certainly, and that battle between the 26 rather, of Charles-Andre Billadou and Eric Jensen in the 184 is continuing to be hot. But look at Jake Price still heating up the tailpipes of, I think that was Salil Shukla down the front straightaway there for a moment. But Charles-Andre popping out of line. There's Jake Price now behind the S2000. Great battles here deeper in the field, which is great to see. Sometimes the lead battle is too intense. We can't focus on the mid-pack. This is great stuff back here, Nathan.
Well, and that's the GLTC sort of motto, is racing with buddies. And no matter where you are in the field, there's going to be somebody to race with. And you might see plenty of guys that might have been, and girls, who are racing in 19th, 20th place, but they come out and they're all high fives.
Yeah, Lisa Keys is here this weekend, and her car is 20 years old. At least the engine swap is 20 years old, and it raced here after it got that engine swap back in, I think that, what year that had been, 2004? 2000.
2002.
2002. I can't do math right now. I'm thinking about too many things. Like the battle with Austin Hurdle and Matt Waldbaum. That's for 5th down in turn 7. Great fight there. And Catil has kind of separated himself from Robert Thorne, who has just retaken 3rd place from Andy Smedegaard. So those two have traded spots once again.
Yeah, they're the ASM guys having a good battle there. A little bit of a distance from Catil to Tom. But yeah, they're keeping pretty close.
Yeah, and right behind, look at Matt Waldbaum defending from Austin Hurdle. That's that orange and purple 370Z. The bumper is hanging off of the back of Austin Hurdle's car, so not sure if there was a touch somewhere, if it just came unclipped, but that has to be dragging that car backwards a little bit.
Yeah, definitely don't want any extra drag on a track like this with such high speeds. Even the smallest amount can start to hold you back on the front stretch.
Yeah, so Hurdle continues to put pressure on the number 90 of Matt Waldbaum. A couple cars have pulled off to the right. One of them is Jake Price. Luke McGrew is also off track, as is Eric Meadows. So maybe mechanical issues for those drivers. They've found places to pull off. We will continue to race here. 6 minutes to go. Here is Rob Gagliardo and the 898 of Brian DeFries. A little wide there at the exit of the corner.
Yeah, that was pretty tight, but kept it tidy. Porsche versus Honda Civic. Not often you see that.
You don't see that a lot. This time the Porsche will win. We're not done yet, though. Right behind is another one of our new competitors. Brian DeFries tucks in behind. Is that Coppola, maybe? I don't exactly know the face to the name on that car just yet.
Coppola is the last car in line there with the white and blue arrows. He's actually one of our video production editors.
Okay, that'll do. Down the front straight. This is a great scrap back here for, I think, about 20th. Maybe it's, Don Louis in the 363. That's who that is. Down the front stretch and into turn 1, they continue to fight. Brian DeFries in the mix. Here in Big Bend at Lime Rock Park. About 5 minutes remaining in this race already. Some dust clouds have been kicked up all over, but so far, other than potentially the bumper clips on Austin Hurdle's car, we haven't seen anything go wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where, you drop a tire here or there.
Up to turn 6 now. This is West Bend. Look at Charles-Andre chasing Eric Jensen, and right behind him is Salil Shukla in the red S2000, putting pressure on. This is all for 10th place. Jensen trying to defend from the Mustang. The white Mustang looming in the rear view as they head down the front straight, Nate.
That's got to be intimidating in the rear view there. It's a big V8 American muscle going against another American V8, but
And at S2000, Salil chucked it down the inside at turn 1. It didn't quite stick. Now he's going to dive to the inside. Big slide through turn number 2, and he hangs on to it. That was all sorts of car control that Salil was using there.
Oh, yeah. Kept it clean. Tires getting hot, getting loose, but they're definitely having fun.
They certainly are. Behind, Matan Rosenberg is seeing all this out the windshield. If they continue to battle, he might just reel in this trio. LS Swap FRS, Ford Mustang, Honda S2000, Miata, and Honda Civic all battling for 5 positions for 10th place, really. It's really a 5-car fight if you look just behind the red S2000.
Yeah, and the heavier car, the Mustang, it's interesting to see it's being able to maintain pace with the 2 lighter vehicles. A little harder on tires, and you'd expect it to maybe start to fall off as the race goes on.
Through turn number 7 this time through and across the start-finish line. Still got some racing left to go. Big dust cloud. Somebody's had a big moment at the exit of 7. And here's a battle for second. Eric Catil feeling pressure now from Robert Thorne in his BMW. This is closing up here, Nate.
Curious to see if Robert can make it stick. He's getting really close to Eric there.
Wow, up to the uphill there, nose to tail. Eric Catil trying to hold off the 180 car, Robert Thorne. Catil was out for most of the season rebuilding after a crash at Road America that destroyed his EG Civic, the hatch that he had previously. Robert Thorne, 1 win on the season and is trying to chase down Catil to move up 1 spot on the podium.
Yeah, Catil stretched it out a little bit there. Curious to see if Thorne can get a good run here. He might be able to have something going into turn 1 with a little bit more power there probably in that BMW.
Looks like Catil's not going to try the defensive line to leave the inside open, but he actually had the legs on the straight, but into turn 1, that car dances around, slipping and sliding, just begging for grip. He's got ABS in this car, and he's using every bit of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sliding the car sideways there. Definitely has it set up probably to rotate pretty good, and I'm sure it's lively in the cockpit.
I'm sure it is very lively in the cockpit for Eric Catil as we continue to make our way around Lime Rock Park here for GridLife Circuit Legends GLTC Race number 1. And battle for second is underway. Now, there is lap traffic in Tom's way. And again, if he wins, he's going to get rewards weight as well. 3% added to the vehicle. That will stack up towards the end. And I think the weight is going to be a big factor here with how much load you're putting on the tires.
Yeah, absolutely. Those left sides just get beaten into the ground at this track. So depending upon how much weight you're carrying, he may not be able to maintain that dominant performance. But we've seen him do that before.
Yeah, it looks like Tomo has worked by Adam Jabay, Michael Herzin, and Lisa Keys as they tuck into line. Headlights flashing on Catil's car. He sees the traffic. This could influence the battle for second here as we get close to the end of the race. And Thorne is seeing that and licking his lips. He's ready to pounce for second place.
Oh, yeah. If Catil gets caught up here, it's tough to get by. And it could be exactly what Thorne needs to make it happen. As we get into
to the outside of Lisa Keys, 2 wide. Catil trying to get past the lap traffic to the inside of Herzin now at turn 4. And Catil clears the traffic. So does Thorne. And that was very well done by everybody involved there.
Yeah, really heads up from Keys and Herzin. They made it easy for them. Didn't block them, didn't get them bogged down, and they can continue on their way.
That was great stuff. 1.5 minutes remaining here. We could go longer, though. We have the ability to extend the race up to about 15 minutes. We have 12 on the timer. There's Austin Hurdle getting by some lap traffic. He's still 6th, but has fallen off the tailpipes of Matt Waldbaum here. The battle up front has been gone for a while, but for second, it is still hotly contested. Catil slipping and sliding through turn 7. Looks like Adam Jabay is going to pull off and let those other drivers on by, and the battle for second will remain. Headlights still flashing on the nose of the 82.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a gap there, but he wants to make sure everybody knows he's coming up. And if can catch the rear view, they'll make way, and he can hopefully maintain that position.
Working our way through the left-hander again. Eric Catil still trying to hang on. Robert Thorne is putting the pressure on. There is a lot of difference in weight between these cars, a lot of difference in power, but they are running together nose to tail here at Lime Rock Park.
I imagine the last time that Thorne was here was probably in a GT3 car.
Back in the Probably World Challenge days,
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, that M3, maybe not GT3, but it is a GT car. So that's not too dissimilar in terms of the extra weight that he would have to deal with.
Still working our way around now with about 20 seconds left. Again, we can run longer. We'll keep an eye out for the white flag for you. Tom O'Gorman leads. Catil Thorne. There's the white flag, and Tom O'Gorman has already taken it. He's past the start-finish line. 1.5 miles left for O'Gorman, but for second place, Catil is under pressure, under fire from Robert Thorne in the 180 behind him.
It's getting really tight once again. He's keeping it close.
It's so hard to pass here. Thorne's got to just figure out. It really all happens down into turn 1, but you can get aggressive elsewhere and make it work. But Catil is not going to give him an inch. He's not going to give him a mile. He's going to have to figure it out. Catil a little bit wide there on the entry to the left-hander, tucks it in tight, and Thorne thought about it, but wasn't close enough.
I was just about to say, making a mistake is that's what Thorne needs to find. if Coutil makes a mistake, he has to take advantage of it. That was almost big enough, but not quite.
They're going to head up the uphill for the final time in race number 1. Big jump there for Thorne in third as they head to the West Bend and down the hill for the final time. GLTC Race 1 for the first time at Lime Rock Park. GridLife Touring Cup is on track. Tom O'Gorman will continue his dominant season. He will win at Lime Rock Park. Coutil and Thorne in an epic battle to the checkers, side by side. They might have overlap, but Coutil will hang on for second place. Thorne in third, and Smedegaard, Waldbaum fourth and fifth. What an incredible battle.
That was pretty fantastic. Finished about as they qualified, I believe, but still great racing all the way through.
Yeah, did Vidoc get by? I think Vidoc got by Austin Hurdle, so moved the one car up to fifth. That was a phenomenal run for him. Austin Hurdle sixth. Waldbaum actually slipped to seventh. Zach Lavoie, Tyler Pappas, and Eric Jensen, the rest of the top 10. And Tom O'Gorman, his season has been incredibly dominant, and there's no doubting that. But with the rewards weight and the chance of the invert later in the weekend, it's going to be real tough. There's your session results. O'Gorman's 16th win on the season. O'Gorman, Coutil, Thorne, Smedegaard, Vidoc, your top 5. Then Hurdle, Waldbaum, Lavoie, Pappas, and Jensen, the rest of your top 10. Eric did a great job holding off the driver of the number 46, it looks like, or 26 rather, who fell to 15th. Looks like DJ Alessandrini, Matan Rosenberg, and Salil Shukla all got by him and put that Mustang down to P15.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit of the tires falling off, all that extra weight, and other drivers just were able to keep it a little bit better.
Adam Jabay comes home in 24th in this race. Lisa Keys 25th. Kevin Lero 26th. Herzen in the 710 BMW from FCP Hero 27th. Jacob Price, Luke McGrew, and Eric Meadows did not finish the race. We'll have to check in and see what happened to those drivers in those cars. Something didn't go right, so they're stuck at the top of the hill.
Yeah, and you know, they got off there. That chicane, you know, which we're not using for GLTC, is a great spot for people to kind of hide, and they're safely out of the way.
So Eric Meadows has pulled off driver's right, and that is definitely mechanical. And whatever it is, he just put in a new head on this car, had a head gasket issue at Mid-Ohio, so definitely could be engine-related gremlins.
Hopefully not. Hopefully, if it is, it's nothing too serious, and maybe can fix it for the rest of the rest of the weekend.
He's a pretty good wrench. I'm sure he'll have a look at it at least and kind of diagnose it, see where he's at. But race 1 is already complete. They happen quick, Nathan. We have 3 more of those throughout the weekend, but Tomo is just going to be hard to beat.
He's got the experience, and it's one of those things, you know, when you're hot, and the car's hooked up, he's hooked up, everything's falling into place, and when you get into the zone, it can be tough to beat.
Well, he was in the zone and on it this race. Tom O'Gorman's 16th win on the season. More GLTC racing tomorrow. Next up will be GridLife Drift in just a few minutes. We'll be right back from GridLife Live and GridLife Circuit Legends. Coverage of GridLife Circuit Legends is brought to you by Momo, made in Italy since 1964. And by FCP Euro. Every part you buy is guaranteed for life. And by eBay Motors. Let's ride. And by Falcon Tires. The Falcon Azenas RT660 is the official tire of Club TR. And by Pilot Transport, the official logistics partner of GridLife Circuit Legends.
At 303, we're always chasing perfection. Protect your ride with graphene nanospray coating. Now, boost protection, shine, and slickness with Graphene Detailer. Level up your detailing game. Harness the power of graphene with 303.
Ooh. Call Logano. Hey, Joey, you can save money if you fill up at Shell if you use Advanced Auto Parts Speed Perks.
Dude, I'm way ahead of you.
You saved at the pump?
Yeah, I saved at the pump.
The pump?
The pump.
You saved at the pump!
Woo! Now you can save at the pump when you shop at Advanced Auto Parts. Learn more at advancedautoparts.com/gas rewards.
Now, it's my turn.
The more power you have, the more grip you have, the more you push the limits, the more stopping power you need. Get race-proven technology. Hawk Performance.
Hey, we still on this weekend for a little?
You know it. I'm in desperate need of some.
What about you, Jim?
No, my sister's getting the wedding. She's getting married, so.
When adventure calls, make sure you're ready to answer. Stable 360 ethanol treatment is specifically formulated for year-round use, so your engines will be ready when you are. Ready, willing, stable.
We've been powering the American road since before it was paved. Our first breakthrough in motor oil was introducing it. And we've been reinventing it ever since. From the world's first high-mileage oil to the world's first synthetic blend. There are those who change with the times, and those who drive them. Valvoline, the original motor oil.
GRIDLIFE Drift returns to Lime Rock Park this afternoon. The last drift session, the last session on track of the day is GRIDLIFE Drift, and we're here at Lime Rock Park in Lakeville, Connecticut. Kyle Heyer, joined by Kato from the Stream Team. We're going ripping here for Drift for the third time today. We missed a lot of the second session because we were talking with Sam Posey.
Yep.
A very good reason to step away from Drift for a little bit. We've got more Drift this weekend. We don't get a lot more Sam Posey.
Yeah.
So.
Us drifters, too, our brains are super smooth. So any chance we get more wrinkles on them, I'll take it.
Of course. Let's get some wrinkled brains. Let's send
100%.
it. Of course. We're going to be on track here for Drift here in just a second. We got 40 drift cars out there sending it through turns 1 through 4. We didn't get a chance to see anyone drift the uphill yet.
No.
I'm ready for it.
Drift jump. Let's go.
All right. We just got called a smooth brain in
yeah.
my ears. Thanks, Matt. All right. Well, we're getting set for drifting here again today. If you're not familiar with GRIDLIFE's Drift, we don't do competitive drift. It's all just for fun. We're going to shred it with our boys and boys and girls, and here we go.
It's just a rolling car show. Let's see. Ooh, we got a good initiation angle this time around. That was really nice. That's ASM boys and someone else chasing. The chase car is laying it down right there. They're starting with that heat.
Yeah, it's Pete Collins that's in that ASM car right now, leading the way into turn 3.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
beautiful. Oh, locking it up. Oh, the kip kept it in, though. Oh.
Bailed
they'll
out.
get that. They'll get that. I have faith in
Just
them.
trialing. Practice makes something close to perfect.
Yeah, practice makes something, period. Here we go. Cresta off the line. Let's see. Pretty sweet. So these cars, again, are like a range of horsepowers from like maybe 200 to 250 with these more stock cars or these like SR20 turbos to, we saw like a turbo LS earlier with that E36. Probably pushing like 800 horsepower, and they're trying to tandem together. So let's give these guys
a little bit of credit for where it's due.
100%.
They're doing something that's really, really hard.
Oh, yeah. Who do we got coming in here? Is this one of the Front Street guys, I think?
Might be. Can't see through the smoke.
Yep.
Yep.
Good angle through there. Really locking out that angle kit. Probably. Oh, yeah. Definitely got an angle kit going there. Can't tell what it is.
Grabbed a handful of handbrake there on the entrance to 3 to,
oh, yeah.
to tip it in and send it sideways. He's connecting that pretty well, stitched together.
Yeah. American drifters, dude, they love that handbrake. They love to just grip that.
They don't do that in Japan?
So interesting enough, I'm sure by now, yes. But like Japanese style, especially up till the late 2000s, you leave your normal like parking brake. All these guys usually have the big hydraulic handbrake.
I see, yep.
The big like chonkers. But no, in Japan, street drifting, just your normal parking brake. It's beautiful.
Mine hardly works, so I'm not sure it would be very effective at that.
Same. That you should get that checked out.
I know, I should get that checked out. You leave it in gear, it's fine.
Yeah. Here we go. Who's this guy? He's killing it with S13 603. I don't know if that's his number or what, but
look at this Miata.
This Miata, I love this car. This is
top down, dude.
100%. That's the only way to run when you got a convertible. And he's killing it through turn 3, switching it back for turn 4. Got a little angle. Looks like he's still in it. Oh, no.
That's a fast corner. He might not have enough power to get that up
tough.
sideways. Yeah.
That's really tough. And we talked a little bit about how turn 3 has that bank in it. Looks like, is this...
It's hard. There's so much smoke in turn 1.
Now.
It's lingering. You can't even see through the shot.
I can't tell if that's that R34 from the beginning of the last session.
Yes.
I think
With
that broke before he even got to go out. So it's good to see him out there driving.
His first laps just kind of get the initiation down there at 3 and back. Oh, tried to link it there. Little late.
Oh, yeah.
Little late link.
He'll figure it out. Looks like he might still be having some issues. Just straightening out there a lot means not having a lot of power. Here's another Front Street driver. Let's see. These guys are like the local hometown heroes as far as I can tell. So he's laying it down. Beautiful wheels, beautiful livery, beautiful paint, excellent driving. It doesn't get any better than this.
You know, there's some of the best looking cars in the paddock are drift cars, and some of the cars that have the least bodywork on them and are still functional are also drift cars. There's really not a lot of in between. You know what I mean? Like there's some of them are prepped so pretty, and some of them are prepped to be functional.
100%. Here's a stock looking. I mean, obviously body-wise stock, but it looks like there's a lot of suspension going on here. Let's see what he gets into. Maybe just rolling through. Maybe just a cider lap.
Mustang.
Yeah. So this is another. I love seeing these things drift. Mustangs, to me, especially like the newer ones, they kind of look like the spiritual. Oh, never mind. Here, I'll get back to that. Big tandem train.
BC Racing Drift Train, would you say?
100%.
We don't have the graphic, but the BC Racing Drift Train. TM.
Usually there's a graphic that's like, boing, yoing, yoing. Buy our coilovers.
Good stuff.
This is good. This is 5 cars deep right here. They're keeping it going.
Nice and
This
tight.
is what I like to see. Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful tandem action. Diving right in. I believe that's Stoneback chasing in the S15 right there. That was good. I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, they're starting to get more confident now. They're starting to put more and more in that group.
Yeah. Interesting. So we got our director guy, God Mike, just told us that. Oh, he said that it's Jeff Stoneback and his sons, but he doesn't. They're not his real biological sons.
Not his
They're
literal
just adopted.
sons, just sons. Just
Yeah.
buddy, dude,
not
bro
that adopted sons are any worse than biological sons.
That's a hot take here. Gato's hot takes.
Anyways, we got more Cresta action. A lot more angle this time around. Keeping it deep, keeping it through turn 2. I learned that that's all 2 corners, not 1 corner.
Yeah.
Into turn 3.
Big bend, they call that.
Big bend. Big bend, deep angle.
You know what they call the left-hand turn?
The only left-hand turn on the track.
They call it the left-hander.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a NASCAR circle, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 7-turn over.
Here we go. This Mustang guy is going to send it. That's a big chuck right there. That's what I like to see. That's called style, my friends.
I think this Mustang probably weighs like 36,000 pounds.
Yep. Once you get it sideways, it'll just kind of like slide itself through. Little dirt drop there.
It's like drifting an oil tanker.
I love what he's doing, though. He's really sending it. He's really committed. He's having fun. You could just tell.
Knee-deep garage.
Yeah, excellent transition. Got through turn 4. Shut it down. Who's next? Larry Chen's chasing somebody. Whoever's on this camera, stay on that Larry Chen and the other car. Yeah, let the Cresta go.
Let him go.
It's Turk.
That's Turk. Here comes
All right,
Turk.
Here goes.
In
Big
front of,
Chuck.
Oh, man. Here he comes.
Ooh, nice long E-brake slide in to turn 1. Big on, heavy on the gas, however you want to say it. Damn, look at that angle, son.
he's crushing it now.
Hell yeah, dirt
drop
drop.
the wheels.
Two wheels off. Whew.
He's just gonna carry this all the way through
dude.
4. Here he goes. Yep.
Hell yeah. This is what I like to see. You can see from that FPV angle the shreds of tire just flying through the air. That's insane.
He didn't even have to manji the in-between. He just did it all as one linked corner. Really neat. That's a guy, I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a pro. He's done it.
Yeah. This dude, I think he lives pretty close to. He was in like Jersey or something. Oh, here's Stoneback. Hell yeah.
Stoneback is back.
Chased by, can't tell who's chasing him. They're killing. This is some like pro spec level driving right here. Stoneback is easily one of my favorite East Coast drivers. Maybe my favorite East Coast driver, period. His fleet of cars, beautiful, immaculate. Style on point. Driving style, amazing. He's killing it right now. I love this guy. Just keep watching.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
almost the touch at 4, but they didn't quite do it. Bailed out just in time.
Yeah, buddy. Got to preserve those body panels, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to be doing body work, man.
Yeah, it takes like months to get that from Japan, or you get all fiberglassed up. Meh, I don't like it. Here we go. Ooh, FC. I believe this car is... Wait, I'm going to try to listen for it. I thought I saw this car at Alpine Horizons with a V8, but it doesn't sound like it.
I think it's a different car, I'm pretty sure. I think I know which one you're mentioning.
Yeah. Hell yeah. This guy's killing it, though, too. Good angle, good transition. Keeps it going through 4. Like you said, that's kind of like you're accelerating through that drift. So you can't be super high angle there if you don't already have a lot of speed. So that's a tough section to get through.
And we talked about how the left-hander is not really one corner. It's got sort of 2 little mini apexes, and it tightens out at the exit. So you kind of have to initiate and then get more angle halfway through the corner. That's tricky because once you set it, that's probably fairly challenging. I mean, straightening back out's one thing, but getting tighter is probably pretty quick.
Absolutely, especially when you consider that that whole section is high speed. Like, you're not getting into any tighter corners, really. That they're all sweeping left, sweeping right, or right, then left, then right again. And it's basically, like you said, double apex for that 4th corner or 3rd corner. So it's basically 5 high-speed corners that they're linking to do that section.
It's a lot of corners, man.
Yeah.
There's only 7 on this entire track, and they're doing 5 right there.
That's insane. That's insane.
It is
cut to the drifting.
Yeah, they don't want to see us.
No.
Dumb faces.
I don't want to see me, dude. You look amazing.
No, we're going to screenshot you and make you the new mascot.
No. We'll just take twins, that Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be Danny DeVito, and that'll be the screenshot.
Get to the drift car. I think we're gonna put your sticker on the hood of a car. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh yeah, on Jabei's car.
On Jabei's car for sure. So that's the thing. Jabei has stickers of him, and there was Chris made like really big, tall ones that were like 6 feet tall, and people bought them and put them on a trailer.
It was the 1010s podcast trailer, right?
Yeah.
And didn't they recently have like a jacuzzi and like a cotton candy machine or something at an event, or like a snow cone machine?
I don't know about that. I know that Jabei got in a hot tub one time at a campground, and then they bottled the water and sold it.
Ooh. Is that any of that still available?
It probably is. I know a guy that can get you some.
Ah, hell
It's hot on the market up here. That's bootleg
I'll
up
give you
here
my
in
phone number.
Connecticut.
You can hit me up with that.
All right, back to the on track.
Here's Stoneback again. Probably just swapped onto some fresh tires, getting a little outing lap. I saw the FPV chase him. You can reset, Kevin. Go find someone else to chase. Oh, here we go. Oh, beautiful example of a E36, I think. I don't know BMWs all that well.
It's word salad to me. I think you're right. I'm not going to correct you on that.
He's killing it. You can see him working that steering wheel in there. I respect that.
I don't think he has it. I don't think he's high in the power level either in comparison to some of these other cars. So
yeah,
you have to work harder in the cars without as much power. And a lot of it involves with the aggressiveness of the initiation.
Yep.
Getting it sideways and keeping it there is tricky.
Look at the backfire out of this R34 here. It's beautiful.
Cars that shoot fire are much better than cars that don't shoot fire. That's a fact.
I'm not mad about it.
That's a fact.
I'm not bad about it. He's going straight and it still looked great. I'm happy about it. I'm cool with that.
Big dust cloud out of 2.
These guys are killing it. Sorry, I was just watching for a second.
You got just being a spectator. That's what it's all about. Again,
it's all a rolling car show. So I mean,
fans here at Lime Rock have never seen this before. I mean, they've seen it twice today. They're going to see it 3 times tomorrow.
Hell yeah!
But it's all about taking in the experience.
It's all thanks to Sam Posey, too, right? I heard someone say that he's responsible for getting drifting here, or like one of the
I'm sure he's a big part of it,
that
right?
approved it.
It's
yeah.
It's tough, right? I mean, a lot of racetracks don't allow it, and there's good reasons for that. But man, is it cool to bring drift to a place that has not had it before, and especially a track as historic as this. What other tracks of this vintage can you drift on? You can't do Watkins Glen. You can't drift Road America. That'd be impossible.
Yeah.
You can't do Mid Ohio. I've never seen drift at Laguna Seca. Okay, Road Atlanta, drift
Atlanta,
Road
absolutely.
Yeah, but that's only. I mean, that's
Does Sonoma count?
Sonoma count?
Because they shred Sonoma.
I'll throw Sonoma in there
That's
just
my
to
home
appease
track.
you. But
I
I like that
pissed.
place. I just don't know if it's like belongs in the same category.
Dang, all right.
Look, it's good. It's a great racetrack. It's just not as old as this.
Yeah, fair enough. We got a nice little tandem going on here. They're closing the gap. I like to see what I like to see.
I'm not going to yuck your yuck.
Uh-oh, here we go. Camera angle. Miata versus Mustang. Let's see if they go for it here.
It feels like we're back in GLTC again.
Yeah. How many Mustangs were in GLTC? I think I only saw the one.
Just the one.
S550, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That'd be a pretty fun chassis. It's not fully V8 race car Corvette.
Yeah, we don't have Chelsea and Vaughn out this weekend, but boy, would that be fun.
Oh, absolutely.
They got those Mustangs out on track. They know what to do with them.
Speaking of pro drivers, I don't think we've seen Essa at all this.
We have not seen Essa this session.
I wonder if he's loading up passengers or what's going on. Nice little tandem entry there. 2 S14s. I'd love to see it. Oh, Stoneback's leading Larry Chen. Those shots are going to be sweet. Look at that angle, and he's pouring on the smoke.
I can't wait for the edits coming out of this. If you're not following GridLife on Instagram, GridLife Official on Instagram, this is where all this stuff gets posted, so a lot of Larry Chen's footage will make it there.
Nice.
Creature will rip out some edits probably tonight, and you'll see a bunch of this.
Moth Creature, he's the man. That dude's so funny on the pit cam.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah, love that guy. I'll also love his shorter counterpart, Mothman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Moth Crew.
We're missing Mothman. He's at Ojibwe Rally right now shooting some Ken Block Hoonigan stuff.
I was going to make fun of him, but that's kind of a good excuse to be gone. So.
It's still cars.
It's still cars.
And they're jumping stuff, too. So
I mean, we're jumping stuff here.
Yeah, and we're sideways.
That's 2 for 3.
Hell yeah, brother.
I don't know what the third one is, but...
third one's just hanging out with your buds.
There you go. 3 for 3.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get... Are we getting set up for some trains here, you think?
Looks like it. Playing around. I think, hopefully we'll see all 4 of them go.
I think that's what they're planning on, yeah.
We still haven't seen a clean run from that R34 yet, but I know he's got it in him.
Nick Swan's down there on the front straightaway, clearing everybody and turning them loose. Is that Cone up there I see, too? Yes, I think that's...
Cone?
It might be Cone. Pretty sure it's Cone.
Is Cone a man?
Or is that Carson? I think it might be Carson. Carson or Cone. I can't tell. It's too smoky.
The only people I know are the live stream and Chris.
Okay.
And you. Well, you're both.
Yeah, I kind of count as both, yeah. I can't even tell who's out. I know Swan. I just can't tell who they're...
I know Colleen, too. Colleen's nice.
Yeah, Colleen's around. She's Instagramming.
Yeah.
Posting the things on the interwebs.
Let's see. It looks like Larry Chen's going to chase another FC. Is that same FC? It looks like it might be a different one.
Blue?
Blue.
It
looks like it's still a 13B, which is cool. Turbo 2. Oh, yeah. That's an excellent car.
Oh, it's
beautiful paint job.
Not a lot of smoke yet, but he got some angle.
That, to me, it also indicates that he would still probably be a 13B. I can hear it now, too.
Yep.
Just the lower relative horsepower than, like, the V8s.
Didn't quite get the angle in 3.
No. That flaky paint, though, just looks excellent in the sun.
Wow, big.
Cresta, big chuck.
Yep.
Nice. Hangs it all the way to the outside. Let's see if he can carry it around. Hell yeah.
Looking good.
All the way through turn 2. See, reinitiates there for turn 3. Good angle through turn 3.
Yep.
Nice and deep, too, staying away from that inner curbing.
Yeah, did a good job keeping the tires on the pavement. That's important here at Lime Rock in particular.
100%, especially because we want to come back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep it on the black stuff.
Yeah.
All 4 tires.
Cresta's, again, another super good chassis for getting into drifting. Here comes a couple more S chassis, chucking it in. Made it into turn 2. Looking pretty nice. Keep it really tight here. It's Stoneback and a faction/front street driver.
Following is tricky.
Yep.
Kicked it out. Got some more angle through the grass, though.
To close up that gap a little bit.
He did, but not close enough.
Yeah. That was nice, though.
Good
stuff.
first go. Yep.
Good show, old chap.
All right, down into turn 1. Here comes the Mustang again.
Chuck it. I just want to see him dive in, clutch kick, and counter steer. Nope, he's just sight lap.
Just checking things out.
I'm checking him out.
You're watching Grid Life Drift from Grid Life Circuit Legends at Lime Rock Park. The first time ever that Drift has been here at this facility. And boy, it is smoky and stinky out there, but I like that smell.
Oh, yeah. It keeps your blood flowing.
Or maybe.
Maybe.
Short term.
Short term.
Long term,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how good that is for you. But
yeah.
All right.
Here we go. That's another beautiful S chassis. There's just so many clean S13s and S14s too, and S15s, obviously.
I think there was actually 20 of them on the list.
Holy crap.
You see the list now?
I feel like I'm in like 2002, dude, with that many S13s.
There's so many of them. My scroll bar is very tiny on the, the Nissan entries here for this particular event.
Here you go. This guy's moving. Oh, shutting it down.
Yeah,
those
just on the
fenders are
brakes.
beautiful. I think those are Kaguchi fenders. If I can see correctly, it looks like it. Love that car. Very subtle styling.
Whoa!
Oh.
Big slide into turn 1 and backwards into the off-track area there.
Ay, 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 ay.
That was a reverse entry intentionally or unintentionally?
I
Take a
mean,
bet.
he's going for it.
Yeah.
You got to find the line somehow.
I mean, it's intentionally, accidentally.
Yeah. You learn something new every day, you know? I mean, you just, it's not a mistake if you learn from it.
I
don't know.
accidentally, intentionally did it.
Hell yeah, brother.
That was an excuse all the time.
Right there, you sound like a drifter. Or you're ready.
I'm
just
ready.
lock that diff and get your BRZ out there.
Oh,
or FRS.
boy. It wouldn't last a lap.
Nah, I have faith in you. And I'm sure we could find more axles. 'Cause That's
Yeah,
definitely what you bring.
Yeah, I'd break a lot of things. Oh, man.
Oh, someone just initiated. It's yeah, we're back. Ooh, nice. This guy's killing it. I'm going to look this guy up on Instagram. I'll find him somehow.
We got all their Instagrams.
Uh-oh, who's this?
This is the Cressida?
Yeah, announcer challenge. Who's that?
It could be one of 3.
Okay.
It could be
yeah,
Taylor Walrath, Brad Roach, or Derek Richardson at Halo Kitty, at Brad Roach 518, or at Derek _R1021.
Odds are those dudes are all homies.
I bet you they are all homies.
Yeah. I don't know why.
If they're not, they should be.
Yeah, especially like Toyota Brotherhood. You just like.
That's what happens at Grid Life. You like show up in the paddock and you're like, this is a weird car that I have. And then there's 13 other people that have it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I broke an alternator. And then Napa's like, we don't carry that. And everyone's like, we do. And they have 15 of them in a trailer.
Hell yeah.
You know, that's the Grid Life experience.
Yeah, 100%.
I heard a joke earlier. Eric Catil had an alternator fail and went to Napa to buy one. And there was another guy here that needed an alternator for an EG Civic.
Big Chuck. Ooh. That was a lot of angle. That I don't want to say it's backwards because it may not have been, but that was a big entry there.
Pretty close to it, yep.
Yeah. And he's keeping it going through turn 2 into turn 3. Not even munging, just linking the whole thing. Still holding that angle too, and the throttle powering through. Little smoky action.
Transition to 4.
Into 4. Holding it. Ooh, he's wrestling it. Little corrections. Ooh, little.
Nicely done.
Yeah, he exited that nice. He handled that well. Beautiful job. Beautiful job.
Swan's got another one load up, another NA Miata.
Send it. This guy's going to need a big run up. Let's see. Hopefully he just stays in it. You can see where everyone's chucking it in. There you go. Little chuck. There we go.
He's got it hanging.
He's in it. Going around.
Oh, this is such a long corner. He's doing a great job for the power level he's got.
Yeah, try to keep it nice and wide. The key here, I think, is to not turn in too early.
Oh, look at that was perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep, beautiful. Gets it around. Nice. Excellent job.
And back into 4. He linked that whole thing.
Yeah, and you could tell how much he wanted to step out there in that transition. He managed that really well.
Did a great job managing it. They're still lining up there.
What? Oh, it's an E36? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got tape on the headlights.
Yeah, I thought it was like a Chevy truck or something because of that tape. I was like, what? But I'm just blind.
Oh, this has Proving Grounds logos on it. This might be one of FCP Euro's toys.
Hell yeah, brother. See, he's doing a good job. This sounds and looks like it might be on stock power, which is
impressive.
He's going to work it. Yeah. He's working for every ounce of this.
Back to the right for turn 4.
That was a great transition. That was super smooth. Come on, Larry, get in there.
He got there. All right, look at this. I love the FPV shots here over the rumble strips. Yeah. Locking the rear tires with that handbrake.
Big e-brake slide. Keep it in it. Keep it in it.
I'm actually impressed at how clean the edges of the track are, actually.
I actually agree. 100%.
We could have torn them up. From the top down, it actually is not as bad as I thought it was going to look.
We still got 3 more sessions of drifting tomorrow, so we'll see at the end of that. But
so
they're
far,
putting
so
something
good.
special in this grass, some like tire resistant.
It's the resiliency of 1950s America.
Oh man.
Cold War era racetracks. They just last forever.
There's a tinge of like the radioactivity from all the nuclear waste that fed there.
It'll stay here forever.
Oh yeah. Let's see who else is lining up here. Oh, 2 drivers coming out. This is that I believe it's a S14.5. Yep. Chasing this S13 over here. I like that they on their outlap they just go right for it.
I know. I thought they were going to go around. They were just going to send it immediately.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
In track battle or GLTC, if you blow the blend line, they like slap you on the wrist and they call you stupid, and then they dunk your head in the water a couple times. And whoa, big off there.
Big off.
Once, twice.
Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Nice. All the bumpers stayed on.
That's great. That's not always a given.
No, it's never a given. That's like a 10% chance of that happening.
They mowed the grass real nice and short for us.
We just talked about how the grass was so nice.
I know. And then, okay, now we tore it up. Yeah. But oops.
What's the commentator curse?
Yeah, we did it a couple times today. Yeah. It's not going so well for me.
We should just not say anything anymore.
Everything's going terrible.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
JK, having fun. Good weekend.
All right, we're going to probably wrap this up the next couple of minutes here, and we'll be back tomorrow with more. But we'll let this last couple of cars roll before we cut things off for the day and fire up again tomorrow morning. There's a bumper. We found one.
Hey. Oh, he's going to land in it? This guy, our FPV pilot, he's crashed into a car like the last 3 GRIDLIFE events.
You throw him under the bus?
The least thing that he crashes into is a bumper this time. That's a good takeaway.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to call that, Kato. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Happy with that?
Stream.
All right. Well, sort of. A lot more people involved than just Kato.
Hell yeah.
We're going to wrap things up here today for Friday from GRIDLIFE Circuit Legends here at Lime Rock Park. We've got more racing tomorrow. Before we go, we'll tell you what our schedule is. Make sure if you're here at the racetrack, don't go anywhere. We've got the arcade. We've got the Racing Pride Party up at the arcade. Lots of fun stuff still to do at the racetrack today. Tomorrow, things will kick off at 9 o'clock a.m. We've got HPDE for the on-track. Track Battle kicks off at 9:20. Then GLTC Race 2, more Track Battle. Drift before lunch. Then GLTC Race 3, our Circuit Legends leaderboard laps, followed by more Drift, Track Battle, and one more GLTC race, and then one more drift session tomorrow. 3 drift sessions, 3 track battles, 3 GLTC races, 9 hot on-track things on the live stream and here at the racetrack if you're joining us at Lime Rock Park. Kato, thanks for joining me here. What a fantastic day.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Let's go racing.
Let's go racing. We'll see you tomorrow, Saturday, from Lime Rock Park.
At 303, we're always chasing perfection. Protect your ride with graphene nanospray coating. Now, boost protection, shine, and slickness with Graphene Detailer. Level up your detailing game. Harness the power of graphene with 303.
Ooh. Call Logano. Hey, Joey, you can save money if you fill up at Shell if you use Advanced Auto Parts Speed Perks.
Dude, I'm way ahead of you.
You saved at the pump?
Yeah, I saved at the pump.
The pump?
The pump.
He saved at the pump!
Woo! Now you can save at the pump when you shop at Advanced Auto Parts. Learn more at advancedautoparts.com/gas rewards.
Now, it's my turn.
The more power you have, the more grip you have, the more you push the limits, the more stopping power you need. Get race-proven technology. Hawk Performance.
Hey, we still on this weekend for a little...
You know it. I'm in desperate need of some...
What about you, Jim?
No, my sister's getting... Yeah, dun, da, da. The wedding. She's getting married, so...
When adventure calls, make sure you're ready to answer. Stable 360 ethanol treatment is specifically formulated for year-round use, so your engines will be ready when you are. Ready, willing, stable.
We've been powering the American road since before it was paved. Our first breakthrough in motor oil was introducing it. And we've been reinventing it ever since. From the world's first high-mileage oil to the world's first synthetic blend. There are those who change with the times, and those who drive them. Valvoline, the original motor oil.